Okie dokie. We're gonna wait for people to keep joining us, but in the meantime, if you could please sign in on the chat box in the little comment section. And then while you wait, what is something awesome happening in your life, in or out of the classroom, you'd like to share? We'll give everybody 2 more minutes. It was a last minute change in the meeting, so I don't expect too many people to join live, but if you do, and there's fewer of you, you get a higher chance of winning a raffle prize, so that's a plus. All right, just make sure you guys sign in, and that's how I know you were in attendance on live. I do look at the participants, but sometimes it's phone numbers or funky names that aren't. Like right now, Sneed's Fair Quality has joined us, but I also joined us. I don't know who that one is. Okay. So, I did send out a message to everybody last week just to fill you in on what the expectations were going to be for graduation and then how the start of summer was supposed to go. So we weren't left confused come Monday morning since I had to postpone the staff meeting. So those things are not in this meeting here. But if you do have questions about them, feel free to ask. Oop, I just dove right into it. But anyway, let's get into it. Miss Terry Hendricks, she is one of our super staff members of the month of May. She's a supportive teaching partner and has the patience of a saint with her 2-year-old students, thoughtful in her interactions with students, and ensures clear communication with families. She works very hard to learn new responsibilities each day, and she's not afraid to get her hands dirty, figuratively and literally. Today, she had to deal with one massive accident, and I applaud her for her composure. And she makes the classroom a safe, comfortable learning environment for all students and families. So thank you to Miss Terry for working so hard every day. Our second person is Miss Sam Greganis, and she's at Holly Ridge. She takes on challenges each day with a go-get 'em attitude. She's supportive and a team player with her co-teacher in their first year of NC Pre-K at Holly Ridge Quality. She teaches Holly Ridge Quality values and expectations while holding all staff accountable for their actions to ensure the well-being of all students. She's not going to let you slide and just sit there like a lump on a log, which I greatly appreciate. She's not afraid to take on new challenges and or have those tough conversations and trying new things in the classroom. So I appreciate Miss Sam as well, working very hard in May. So congratulations to the two of them. They'll have their certificates and their $100, and then we can celebrate them in the hallway with the posting of their certificate. Our June newsletter, it has pretty much everything, like a lot of water play information for families, donuts with dads, and I say dads because we have moms who fill in as dad roles, grandpas, we have uncles, we have foster dads. So whoever fits that role, whoever wants to come support the child on Friday, they are encouraged to come on the 13th. Hopefully you sent out your invitations to the families, making sure that you will be outside. So don't say 9 o'clock you're doing your picnic and you guys don't usually wander out till like 9:05, 9:10. You'll have these individuals just hanging around waiting for you guys, and you don't want that kind of pressure. So if you're already outside, they can just kind of walk out and join you for a picnic. If it's raining or winds up being way too hot that morning, we'll do them indoors. Same deal, donuts, and they can sit on the floor together. They can sit at tables together and have that picnic experience. Just a way to celebrate them. We are closed on Juneteenth, which is next week. And then Parents' Night Out is the 20th. So we have that sign up at the front lobby, and then parents can message you as well. Just make sure you let us know in admin, or you go write it yourself for the parents if they message you. Summer highlights. I know you're already aware of this, but we will continue yoga sponsored by admin. I think she comes on Mondays, and she's going to continue coming on Mondays. If your students don't seem enthused and not into yoga and you can see it and it's like a chore to get them into it, please let me know. I don't want to pay for an activity that it just doesn't work. If you find the benefits of yoga and you still want to use it, please do. But I want to make sure that the classrooms who are all about it get it, and then those who are not into it, we can just remove that component. You don't have to do yoga. And then we have all play for soccer shots. For the summer program, we're going to have room 6, room 5, and then our school age summer campers. So we're throwing in room 6, which they didn't typically get the all play experience. So they're going to work that into their schedule this summer. It's just a little something extra for those students who are either in the late 3s or 4s already, and they can have that fun experience over the summer with soccer shots. I encourage everybody to have stream themed summer experiences with their students. It doesn't mean you have to go all out and go crazy. It's not all about just science and engineering. It's science, technology, reading, engineering, arts, and mathematics. And there's so many different ways to integrate those into your everyday activities with students that are at no pressure to you. I mean, just throwing in blocks activity and having a goal as a class when they're going to block center, they're going to solve a problem together. You have to get this one car from this point all the way to this point, and it can't touch the carpet. So they're going to build themselves a nice track, a ramp. Maybe they're going to add some little different components in there. Maybe you can add a problem into their problem so that they have to work together as a team. That's kind of what I want to see from the ages 3 and up. They are very capable, and it'll get them collaborating, problem solving, and then working as teams, which eventually in kindergarten, that's going to be a lot of their time, right? They're going to be spending time working together, solving problems. And then how do you get over those difficult situations? If a friend doesn't want to do what you want to do to solve the problem, how are they going to come to a compromise together? And that's where you, as the teacher, somebody's in that group with them, not contributing as much, but you're kind of there as the mentor and you're the fly on the wall until they look like they need that support from you. And that's teaching in the moment, that's learning through play. And it shouldn't be too much on your plate in the planning process. It's more in the moment. You're there and you're engaged. We're not sitting on the sidelines in a chair watching the kids across the classroom at blocks. That's not the goal here. We're all educators and we're in it and we're educating our students, especially those who have difficulty regulating their emotions. You notice that they go from 0 to 60 real quick. Those are probably the ones who are going to be your buddy when they're doing free choice time and centers in the classroom. You're their shadow without them really knowing you're their shadow, and you can interject or intervene and guide them to a positive outcome or somewhere where everybody makes a compromise right there with them instead of being across the classroom and shouting their name and then rushing over because the situation already went to 60. You were there right at so you could see the trigger. You were there within arm's reach to be able to communicate with them. Reminders, Miss Amy was kind enough to send a bunch of reminders to families who have been wandering in a little after or a lot after 9:30. So if you notice that there are families entering the classroom after 9:30, please let admin know if you're not comfortable of saying it to them in the moment. We'd be happy to discuss that with them because in the end, they may be turned away after 9:30. There are times like today, very short staffed. We had everyone from admin except for me covering lunches. So when those days happen and we know we're going to be very tight and that classroom's right at that borderline of being needing one more teacher when we could use that teacher for coverages, we're going to have to deny the child and the family access to school after 9:30. So it's very important that they know that. With water play, I'll show you a bigger image in a minute so we can go back to that. Welcome to Sneed's Ferry Quality and Holly Ridge Quality. I got to change that. Miss Joan, we want to say welcome to her. She's been learning different classrooms, mostly the 2s, and she's still in those beginning stages with us. Miss Jasmine, she used to work with us at Sneed's Ferry and Holly Ridge, and she is here for the summer, so we welcome her back, and she's at Holly Ridge Quality, working as a flex teacher there. We have Jaden, who's a co-teacher in room 8 at Sneed's Ferry Quality. She joined that room and is working very well in that classroom, guiding those threes and those older twos. We have Kailani, who is Miss Nevaeh's sister. She's our high school apprentice and has joined us recently. We want to welcome her. And welcome back to Chelsea on the 23rd from her maternity leave. We'll be excited to see her. I know it's tough leaving your itty bitty after, maternity leave. So we will welcome her back and be there to support her. And Christy, if you remember Christy, she used to work in our older toddlers classroom. She will be working with us for the summer from the county and as a flex teacher. So we'll see her soon as well. So these are reminders that I put out every month, but I seem to have to need to put them out every month. So here they are. So please don't park in that front row that's closest to the building. I understand if you have children, drop them off like a parent. You are a parent, you are a paying customer. Drop them off, bring them to the classroom, but then you do have to drive to work. So you have to go park away from that front row. I did see 2 or 3 more cars this morning that were there most of the day until I had to leave at 12. So I'm hoping that those individuals, I don't know who the cars belong to, but I'm hoping after this meeting and after me saying it again, they are able to understand that we need to reserve those spots for families for dropping off and picking up. If you're like me and you come at 9:30 and you park and you're leaving at 11 or 12, then obviously it's not the key drop off pickup time. I know some people go to lunch, they come back, and then they leave at 3 o'clock. So we just want to make sure at those important times when parents are bringing in 3 children, they have their infant, they have their little one, their preschooler, we provide them that space so they can get into the building safely instead of having to go all the way to the house of breakfast to park and then come to the building. Making sure that you are clocking in on time within those 5 minutes because they tend to add up. If you clock in 10 minutes early every day, it starts to add up to be a lot. If you're not able to, well, let's go over that. But when you're clocking in, make sure you've already taken care of your personal items. So you used the restroom, you've already dropped off your children, you handled your personal business that you needed to do, and then you clock in because as soon as you clock in, you are ready to go in a classroom. So just making sure that that's the case. All right. So Ms. Joyce went through and we wanted to celebrate the great attendance of May from these individuals who got those extra half days added to their PTOs. Congratulations to these individuals. They had no call outs and they did not leave early, which is a tough feat because there's been illness going around. There's been, things that come up and we totally understand. People get sick. We understand your children get sick, you get sick. Those things happen. But these individuals are the ones who did not call out. So we want to reward people. We don't want to penalize anybody. Just they earn the half of a day. So if they're a normal 8-hour employee, each day they get 4 hours. Some people are 6-hour employees, so they get 3 hours. And if Joy spoke with you individually because you're kind of on the border of part and full time, then you know what kind of hours you're getting in your PTO. And their absences were approved. So some people you'll notice, oh, they went on vacation, but they had an approved absence or they were gone. They had a doctor's appointment, but they gave us that request more than 2 weeks in advance and it was approved. So here's June, here's your next chance to earn 4 extra hours or 3 extra hours of PTO. And again, you can use it as soon as you receive it within 2 weeks of that advance notice of requesting time off. Reminders, all those lesson plans, your whiteboards. If you need a printout of your new roster, can you please just message me privately and we'll make sure, you know what, I'll just print one for everybody. So you're going to have a meal program for Monday and then you're going to have an additional meal program for Monday and just cut out the names and tape it to the back of your whiteboard. That way it's the most up to date for Monday. And that should solve that one. Okay. Making sure your purses and your phones are locked in the closet. I've noticed some phones on shelves lately. They should not be left on a shelf. Purses definitely shouldn't be within 5 feet of the floor for students, and your drinks, personal drinks. We had an incident, remember, there was a cup left on wire shelving. It was a total freak accident. It fell and whacked a kid on the head. So we want to make sure that your drinks are in a stable spot, but they are also not within reach of children. And it is always assumed you are drinking water. I shouldn't know that, you got a Diet Coke from down the street because I can see through and I can see the Coca-Cola, or there's a can. But none of that. You got to conceal it, cover it up, use the koozies I keep giving everybody. Use those containers. Supply list for Father's Day gifts. I am pretty sure every classroom has a craft or something that they're going to give to the fathers for Father's Day. If you did not yet give me a list or something you need, run out of time so I can tell you what I still have in storage, or you can cross your fingers and hope for the best, and I'll order from Amazon for you. So just making sure that you have something. It doesn't have to be elaborate. I mean, it could be print out a tie and the kids and we put their face on it and they decorate it and then we laminate it. Bam, there's the present for dad. It does not have to be elaborate. I know some people like to go all out, but in honesty, it's the ones that are made by the children that everyone holds on to, right? So we want the most kid, I don't know, what kid engaged ones they did the most with. Okay, so when we're talking about working with kids, and this is the second section of this page, I just want to make sure because I have been seeing teachers, and they don't mean anything by it, but they are grabbing a child's hand either to guide them or to prevent them from harming themselves. But the motion sometimes is a jerking motion. And we talked about the nurse's elbow, we talked about dislocating shoulders. It can happen in an instant. It could be the most innocent of intentions, but it happens. So we do have to make sure that our movements are not sudden and in a jerking motion because something terrible could happen. We don't want that. When a child is in distress, we leave them unless they are of the age where you can comfortably pick them up and console them and you're comfortable doing it. If they're older, like I don't really pick up the threes and fours. They're too big for me. Even most of the twos. Adam's humongous. So, I'm not going to pick them up if I'm at risk and they're flailing and they're kicking. We're going to leave them. We're going to let them de-escalate. We're reassuring them we're there for them. We're ready when they are. And that way everybody is safe. We're keeping the other students away. And always call for admin if you need that extra assistance. We are there to come running. We'll either take over with the child in distress, or if you want to work on that relationship, which I strongly encourage, then we will take on the other students in the classroom with the co-teacher and make sure that everything is set. Maybe you need to take a walk with the child or just spend that time with them without distractions of other students who are a little nosy and trying to get into seeing what's going on. Now that we're in short season, please make sure that your shorts are 5 inches long or your fingertips. So we don't want the shorts to be where, they're not long enough for my fingertips to touch. Everyone's got different length of legs. So I'm trying to do it in two different ways. If just making sure that we don't have booty shorts on and we're being conservative because we all bend, we sit on the floor, we're up and down, and the last thing you want to do is to give someone a show when they're picking up their child. Okay. Big deal about the wiping noses and faces. We've been doing very well from what I can tell, where children are not going home super yucky and gross, but it is also snotty season. We see a lot of runny noses still with allergies. So making sure that when the child is getting picked up, you just do that little check. Oh my goodness, we've got to wipe you again. You go get a wipe, you clean the child's face for the parent. It just shows that extra step that you were attentive to them. They had a runny nose. Oh, it happened again. And here I'm going to fix it for them. Also, a nice butt check would be great before they walk out to mommy and daddy. So making sure that, if you're outside, you're not going to smell poop that easily. It's just not in the realm of being outdoors. So if you check the child's diaper, let me check them for you one last time before you go. They were about to be changed, something to that extent. And at least the parents know you're being attentive and you're going to work to solve the problem if there is one, instead of sending them home poopy butt. And that would be pretty terrible. Supervision, just making sure that you are always facing your students. We're not hanging outside of the classrooms. And when we're working with students, I did see this in 2 classrooms last week, so I want to address it. We're not sitting where we're expecting kids to come to us. We go to students to work with them. If we're at a table and we're pulling small groups of kids to work on an engaging skill, maybe you're working on a math skill, or you're working on some letter skills or sounds, and you're pulling children, I totally understand that. But if you're sitting at a table where there's Legos and no one's playing Legos, that's not the station for you. You're going to go and engage with students. And then doing that, we're going to avoid more incidents occurring. Those biters will have somebody with them. So please make sure you're being attentive to your students, especially the ones who you know need that extra care and attention. You are within arm's reach of them, or your co-teachers within arm's reach. I understand maybe somebody's doing something like changing diapers, or maybe they're assisting another child. So that's when you would need to say, I'm going to go with our darling friend over here. And then they are aware of what the strategy is. All reports are legal documents, so please make sure you're using black or blue ink, and we make sure that we inform the parents with photos of the incident reports so that they know what's coming. If you need us to make a phone call because the incident is a little more severe or you want admin support, just let us know and we will be able to do that for you. But that image also is record keeping for us in case they accidentally take it home. Once it's out of the building, we don't have it anymore. It's like it never happened. So making sure that you document the fact that the incident report was done. Here it is, mom and dad. You got to sign it when you pick up, and please drop it at the front office or leave it back in the classroom. These are all resources I wanted to reinsert here so you know that they're available. When you go to the PowerPoint after I send it out, these links are live links. You click them, you can log in with the accounts that I pay for and use the resources that are there. Twinkle has those free choice group posters. So it says two friends, and then it's got little circles where you can do Velcro dots and Velcro their faces. Whoop, this center is all full. Look, 1, 2, I see their faces. When they move their face, then you could put yours on, and that's when you know it's your turn. There's a spot that's free. And doing those things, you're going to make the classroom the third or fourth teacher. You want the classroom to talk to the kids and the kids to talk to the classroom. So they're moving things around, they're communicating with the room, showing the teachers what their intent is. And it's so helpful when they get into the habit of it. I mean, you're teaching this every day, right? You're in circle time and you're going to teach them how does Science Center work. There's 3 friends who can go to Science Center. See these 3 dots? Miss Shannon's face is going to go here. And then you grab 2 more friends. Oh, Science Center's full. What happens if I want to go to Science Center? I have to wait, for one person to move their face. Now, if no one's moving, then they can come see a teacher and we can figure out what is the next best choice for them. And those are ways that they're going to learn how to problem solve too in the classroom. I had some questions about process art. I think summer is the perfect time to get your hands dirty and experiment with process art. This is very different than product art. So product art is when, like your Father's Day crafts, you kind of want them all to look pretty and to all look like the same thing. So that's when you're going to provide a template or guidance, or you're going to show them a model example. With process art, they literally get it to, from whatever comes out of their little brains, is what they're going to create. So you can give them a collaborative goal, like everyone's going to make what they think that a cow looks like today. And we're going to make our own cows. Now, you did not show them what your cow looks like. You did not instigate where everything goes on the cow. They're going to create their cow on a farm. Then you're going to bring in different materials for them and supplies. Maybe you have paint and crayons and markers on the tables. They choose which material they're going to use, and then they create. Now, this may take one day, it might take the whole week to create their cow on the farm, but it is their cow on the farm. It may not look like anything closely related to that, but that's what the goal is for process art. You just give them an end goal, and then they're going to use the different materials that you provide with for them to create it. and then we put it on the wall. It's going to look nothing like a cow, but that's why we have dictation. So we write down a little label for the families to say, oh, this is what our cows on a farm, moo, whatever you want to do. And then there it is. And then it's posted for families, and that is process art. So if you want 3D materials, I mean, we have paper towel rolls, we have cardboard boxes, we have all kinds of things for you to be able to create 3D art. We have tons of caps, bottle caps, and things like that. So all those come in really handy when you want to make 3D art. Just ask for those supplies on the supply list. If you don't see it as an option, write it down for me, and we will try to find you those options, those things. I also have air dry clay. I got a ton of air dry clay. So if you want them to sculpt something, maybe you're doing a whole study on ocean animals, and they're going to pick one ocean creature that they just loved, and they're going to create it themselves. That's process art. So you did learn about it all, but now they're going to choose their favorite sea creature and create it with the air dried clay. They're going to paint it with the acrylic paint that we have. And then there it is. That's their 3D art. You just spent the whole theme learning about these creatures. And the end project, process art project, is that they created it from their own memory and their own creation and their own choice. I hope that's clearer now. There's tons of videos on it out there, but I did want to include this slide here for you. These are more links from Chantale. She did make a Padlet a long time ago. It's got great resources on it, different Padlets. And then we have the Child Care Lounge here that has different classes. And the paid classes that are there, we reimburse. So if you find one that is a paid class, we reimburse you after you provide the certificate and the receipt. More links. She's got a Pinterest site. She's got public resources on her live binders. And then this is the most recent resource she sent us, I think as of this week or last week, free quality webinars. So if you click it, it's earlychildhoodwebinars.com. And if you find one that you think is truly valuable for others to watch as well, please share with us so everyone can go and experience it and get their contact hours as well from something that's actually meaningful instead of those silly trainings that we always have to do. This is Twinkle, which I pay for. Conscious Discipline. I do pay for Conscious Discipline. So there's trainings on Conscious Discipline. There's principal resources. There's ideas for your classroom. Teaching strategies. Every early childhood educator in North Carolina can have a free account to take these classes. So if you'd like to see how you can do that, just message me or track me down, and I'd be happy to send you what they do and get you set up so you can take those courses for contact hours. The pyramid model, we've gone over that many times. I use it a lot for our videos that we watch, but this is a great resource. If you have challenging behaviors in your classroom, the pyramid model is fantastic. It's got Tucker Turtle in there. This poster is from there. This is for toddlers. What can we do to support them when we want them to stay calm? And there's just different little snippet ideas that are very helpful and lots of videos. I love the videos. Cox Campus, again, is a free webinar and course site, has great real life videos. So if you want to see something in action, you don't want to be told what to do. You want to see it and if it really works. And sometimes these teachers, it don't work out so well, but they'll go back and they'll reflect. What would they have done the next time around? And I find that very valuable because every day is different. Every child situation is different and it's not always going to work. But then they kind of show you why it didn't work and what they would do next time as they reflect. All right, so here we are with water days. We're getting splash pads again because Mr. John checked and we only had one splash pad in the shed. So we got to make sure that there's a slit cut in the middle because we can't have any standing water over 2 inches. And unfortunately, the splash pads, it's like almost 3 inches. So it's just there and we can't prevent it from not filling anymore. So we do have to cut that slit in there. I did get watering cans in today. Miss Brittany passed those out for me. If you want other water toys, I have the little squirters coming in. So they're like the tubes. If you find your children are abusing the toys because they're squirting each other in the face, then you have to remove it. But those who are responsible and maybe they're using it to fill buckets, they're doing a relay race with water and they're filling one bucket at the end and whatever you can think of. I got big sponges, those car wash sponges you guys can use. So if you think of any other toys, please let me know and I will see what I can find. If you are the first one to go, please make sure if you can prepare your playground. So the splash pad's going to be laid out, the hose is going to be twisted in, your toys are out there ready to go. So when you say, Admin, turn the water on, it's not, Admin, please set up our water play activities outside, which I'd be happy to do. But if you have the time before 9 o'clock, maybe when you first get there, it's very low numbers, it's very slow. Take that time to set it up because you know you're going to be first on the playground. If you're going to be last on the playground during water play, it's your responsibility to tidy it up, make sure everything is off the playground or hanging to dry, put in bins, wherever whatever the case may be, the hose is wrapped up. But then that way we can make sure that the transitions are smooth. And during the afternoon, we don't have wet puddles and a big splash pad still soaking wet out there laying on the ground. We'll have to hang it on the fences to let them dry. Okay. And if you have questions or if something doesn't work, please tell me and we'll find a different solution. If they don't have a bathing suit, they can still do water play. I don't want to exclude them because they forgot a bathing suit, or maybe they're a family that doesn't have bathing suits. We have tons of spare clothes. I'll grab something and they can put that on for their water play and then go back into their school clothes when it's all done. We do have some extra towels, but not many. The plastic grocery bags, have them ready because if anything, I've learned from other teachers who have done this for a while. If you're prepped before water play, the after water play goes much smoother. So making sure that those plastic bags have your masking tape name labels. If a kid came in with their own bag or a backpack, just making sure that their name is labeled on the bag and you have a spot where everyone's wet items will go. Then when you're all done getting everybody dressed and you need that extra assistance maybe to get everyone dressed, just holler for us. We'll come help you get them dressed. But then we're going to lay all the items out in the hallway along the wall of your door. So that way when families come to pick up, they see their kid's name. It's on masking tape, grab it and go because nobody wants stinky wet clothes to sit there for many days because it will get real gross. Okay. Donuts with Dads, we already talked about this. If you have questions, just let me know. Our summer program, different things for the school agers. They will be reading. Our goal is to read at least 30 minutes every day. They're going to find a quiet hula hoop spot for themselves. Hula hoop spot's what I used to use when I taught. But we would literally put a hula hoop down and that's your personal space. That's where you're going to read. You find a cozy spot to read. Some of them want to rest. That's fine. But to take advantage of that quiet time to read so that they don't fall behind and get into that gap. So with tone and phrasing, many of you are amazing with your tone and your phrasing. You are able to take a deep breath and then address our students and making sure that you use that even tone, making sure that you are on their level and that you are ready to address the situation because sometimes they are just pushing your buttons and you just might lose it. So if you need to take a breath, if you need to take a minute, you need to call admin, hey, I just need a break. That's what you do. That's what we're there for. Because it's not so much what you say as the manner in which you say it. And that line right there, those two lines in the beginning of it, are so important. We want to make sure that the children know that we are still being supportive of them, even though they're on our last nerve. We're going to keep our composure. Because once we lose it, that gives them permission to lose it. So we want to make sure that we are even toned. We still use our big voice. We still state the expectations, but it's in a way where it is just clear and concise, and that's it. We are not raising our voice, the or the no, sir. Can't do it. Leave it out, leave it away, not in our rooms. You don't have it. So even tones, big voice, make sure you're maintaining that eye contact. They know you're talking to them. You're giving them the time and attention. If you can, when you're just stating expectations, use that smile or have an even face because once we have that stern, angry look, the whole situation is read by that child that we are angry. So your facial expressions can say a lot more than what you're actually putting out there for them. That positive phrasing, instead of saying, no, don't do that, let's turn it around and say, this is what we do. So instead of stop running, there's no running. We use walking feet. Or you can march or tiptoe. What do you want to do? Do you want to march? We can do the ants go marching. And then you just go into singing the ants go marching and they stopped running because now they've totally been redirected to the ants go marching. It works sometimes, sometimes it doesn't. But having that positive phrasing of you can do this or you can do these two things, leaving out the negatives because they're going to focus on the not. I know when Adam hears know this, he just does the this. He doesn't hear the no. He's too young for that. So a lot of our twos and toddlers, they're not able to receive the negative before the action. But if we state the action we want to see, so we're walking feet, they're more likely to pick up that that's what we want because we haven't even touched on running. Walking feet, marching feet, tiptoe feet, and giving them the choices, things that you two things you would say yes to. State the expectations clearly to them. If they didn't hear you the first time, make sure you say their name. You're giving them the eye contact, and then you state it again because they may have not heard you. We have children with auditory processing issues. We have children who are just in la la land all the time. So you got to make sure they see you. You know, you're touching their shoulder, you have their attention. That way you can ensure that they hear you. Because someone playing like this with their manipulatives and you're trying to get their attention, they're not focused on you. They're still here. Tunnel vision is a big deal with these kids. So making sure that they see you, touch their shoulder, say their name, and then make sure that they look at my eyes so I know you can hear me. That's going to teach them great social skills in the future as well. If you're addressing a kid who's on your last nerve, please make sure you take that breath. You take a moment, you call for admin, whatever you need to do. Highlighting and praising another child who's doing exactly what should be done. That's an amazing way to make that child feel great about themselves and proud of themselves. But also, you're going to see the other copycats in the room who want to be praised like that as well. This is hanging on our bathrooms here, but making sure that you are mindful of the phrasing. So these are all those negative phrases here, but we do want to say the positive phrases or leave out the negative. Problem solving in the moment. This is a great video. I ask that you watch it in your time because I don't have enough time to really show it to you and make it meaningful, but I ask that you watch it. It is only, let's see how long it is. Oh, it wouldn't even let me anyway. I have this problem. When you click it, it'll work. But for some reason, when I do presentations, it doesn't work. Here's another one about redirecting behavior. So just like what we were saying is you see something that you don't want to happen in the room. Now we're going to redirect them into what we want the goal to be. What do we want to see in the classroom? Don't focus on that negative because the more you say, no, we shouldn't do that, don't do that, don't do that, they're only hearing do that. Instead, redirect to something you do want to see. So if they're wiggly and out of control on the circle time carpet, tell them what you do want to see. Oh, I see so-and-so sitting on their bottom. Their legs are crisscross applesauce and their hands are in their lap. Who else? And then you'll see the whole chain reaction. Everybody else following suit because they want that praise as well. Okie dokie. This is about biting. We've had quite a bit of biting in many different age groups lately. So I did include this. It's from Conscious Discipline. They're just different slides of strategies to use. So if you know you have a biter in your classroom, I ask that you revisit this and you can go through on your own if you have questions for me or you want to see the Conscious Discipline video again of how to eliminate the biting in the classroom. I'd be happy to share that with you. And this is the video I was talking about. So if you come back in here and you have a biter, please watch it because it's so important to just stop the biting and then we address everything else because that's what our focus is. Stop other children from getting harmed and then we can proceed with what else we need to teach this child. Okay, we already talked about this. It's just more about the, double incidents. The teacher's checklist for closing checklist. We've been doing pretty well. Miss Ruby and Miss Joyce have told me, so I'm just going to leave this here for those who need it. Thinking about the future, before we know it, it will be August. So if you know you don't have a classroom that you're getting, maybe you're getting a promotion and you have a different classroom come August and you already know about it, or you are totally fine where you are and you love it, and you don't want to leave. That's great. But if you have an idea, maybe you want to change for August, please let an administrator know. That way we can definitely take it into consideration. We can discuss it with each other and make sure that if we can make it work for you, we're going to do our best to do that because we want people to be happy, not stagnant, and we want you to feel like that you have options when you're working with us. So it doesn't hurt to share. The trainings that need to get done, making sure that you are doing all of your lovely contact hours. Miss Ruby is going through and making sure that people have done their health and safety if they're within their first year with us. And some people are at their fifth year with us and they have to renew. So please make sure that your trainings are getting done before the due date because a day after the due date, it's a violation. And we don't want to have to send people home because they have to do trainings. And then, it's right before the deadline, you got to do 5 more trainings. So if you know you have to do trainings and rest time is coming up, we'll bring you a laptop, just radio for a laptop. We'll bring you one and you can do it in the classroom while rest time is happening. If you want to do it on your lunch, which I don't encourage, but you can do it then. Rest time is perfect because you got at least a solid hour where the co-teacher's out of the room and you can just let that training play. So I definitely suggest that. Okay. And make sure you always know we have an open door policy. If you have a little issue, a little concern, please make sure that you let us know because those little concerns, they start to grow and they fester and then they really start to bug you. And then you never really know why you started to get upset in the first place, but you just know you're really angry at something. And then at that point, there's no turning back, right? So if you have something that you'd like to address, a concern, something that you notice, please let us know because we want to make sure that you all feel supported and that you all get what you need in your classrooms. And all right. I don't know if we had anything to add. Joyce, Ruby, do you have anything to add? No?
I have some staff members' evals ready to go. So I will be meeting with them. So it'll tie in with the request of like, if they're opening their horizons to different age groups or classroom spaces, that'll be a perfect time for me to have a conversation with them and then share that with everybody else in the administrative team. Um, but your evals are pretty much all done. So I'll be pulling you aside. So I don't want anybody getting scared or worried when I'm like, hey, come talk to me. Because it's just it's that time of the year. So we should be set to go.
Yes. And along with that, if you are a salaried employee, your contracts are different than everybody else's year. So your years start in August. And so you may not get your contract from me till August because it takes a while for me to write them up. So just so everybody knows, if you are going to become salaried, just know that your contract will be coming to you ready before you start your contractual agreement, but it will be August. And then Cassidy asked for us to show again our super staff members were Miss Terry and Miss Samantha Gerganis, Miss Terry Hendricks and Samantha Gerganis. And Ruby also added, if you're on your phones during active rest or you're on a laptop, you must still check your students every 10 to 15 minutes. Make sure everybody's breathing, make sure nobody's face is covered with a blanket. And I don't want to scare anybody, but the news story, I am still not understanding. But if that could happen where we don't have answers as the public and a child passes away who was older than infancy, okay, so an older toddlerish age, passes away, and because the teacher didn't notice that the child had passed away during rest time, there are other things in play, but that person's at fault. So I'm very confused on the whole situation, but just that in itself, to close the child care center, to take that person, and now they're being charged, and there's allegations against them. Check your babies. Please check your babies. Okay? I understand there's schoolwork to be done, there's lesson planning to be done, but you got to stretch your legs anyway. So walk around the room and just make sure everybody is accounted for and everybody's face, you can see them rising and falling of the chest. You'll feel so much better that you are rest assured your kids are safe because there are babies for 10 hours a day. And if you feel like anything's, their breathing's a little raspy, let's check them out. Call us. That's what admin's for. We'd rather check on a child and make sure that everything's okay versus, they're fine. They'll be fine. If you notice something concerning, we will definitely check on the child. And then as administration, then it falls on our shoulders, right? To take action, to speak with parents, to tell you what the next steps are. So it's better to take it off your plate and hand it to us so we can make those decisions on behalf of the child and the parents, and then we'll move forward from there. Um, but yes, I don't know if everybody saw the news story. I don't want to share it, but it is very concerning because I can't see any reason why they would hold that person accountable if they did exactly what we were all expected to do in those situations. So, if you don't have any other questions, I'm going to say goodnight and I will see everybody Friday. I have an admin meeting tomorrow. So be good. Bye.